I'm gonna be iconic. I'm gonna be iconic.
Good morning, Erpers. Good morning, good afternoon. My name's Kat. I'm going to be hosting a panel this morning. That's why you're here. Thank you for joining us. If you can in the chat, let us know where you are. Let's see how worldwide we are today. Of course, this is going to be the Melanie and Knox panel. By the way, um, I I'm I co-host a podcast. I've never mentioned it on these panels, and I feel like I should. Slovakia is in the house. It's called the She Nerds Out podcast. And if you are an Erper, which you must be, you'd probably enjoy it. She Nerds Out. Check us out. Let's get rolling. We're here to talk to two very special people.
Golden Girls.
We're here to talk to the Golden Girls.
All four of them.
We brought them back from the grave. Melanie, you can come on in if you want. Everybody, please help me welcome in your own homes, Melanie Scrofano and Knox.
Hello.
Listen to the reaction we're getting. It's so long.
Yeah, the applause is absolutely deafening. Yeah, I know. Wow, thank you.
Everyone, sit down, please. Sit down.
One peed over there.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Great. It's a beautiful sunny day. Sunny where you are, Mel?
Well, we're in the same city, so yes.
Yes. Oh, no. Okay. Well, way to drop the secret.
We really should have done this in the same room, maybe. Like we should have just.
I know. We could have gone to a very central location in downtown Toronto. We could have just done this from Yonge and Dundas Square. That would have been amazing. Like 10 a.m. with like the guy on the corner who's like preaching about Jesus Christ. Would have been great.
I mean, we have time. Can you guys just like start walking towards each other? No? Okay.
Doing like 9 hours? 9 hours?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Right.
I'm here. I got nothing to do. Knox, is this your first ERP panel?
Yes, it is.
I'm so honored. I get to do this with you.
My maiden voyage. I know Mel is probably done. How many would you estimate you've done, Mel? 1,500?
No, I haven't been lucky enough to do that many, but yeah, like
Many.
Like, could I say 100 and be accurate? I don't know.
In 3 digits, though. We're talking possibly 3 digits.
Probably getting close to that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking up how long it will take me to walk to 5 hours. 5 hours
Okay.
and 52 minutes. If we start now, we could be there.
Okay. Let's do this.
After this is over.
Awesome. It'll probably only take me like 3, so I can just hang out, get coffee.
Right.
I'll get whatever you want. I'll have like a hot mug when you arrive. We'll be ready to rock.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to your first ERP panel, Knox.
I appreciate you both bringing me on my maiden voyage. Yesterday was so fun. I can't believe how nice everyone is. And so funny, too. Everyone is so funny and charming. I'm like, I feel so blessed. I'm like, yes, it feels like I just got invited to a party and I was like, why is this the party that I've ever been to? It's so nice.
Well, get used to it, Knox. It's your first impression is a very accurate one. It's a pretty cool fandom. I'm sure Mel could tell you all about it.
Yeah, seriously. It really does. I am both like shocked and not shocked because everyone kept telling me, they're like, everyone's amazing. Like the Erpers are so awesome. And I was like, I believe you. And then, and then to experience it and you're like, everything everyone said was true. And that so rarely happens in the world.
Yeah. I have a friend who welcome to the shit show. I have a friend last night who invited, it was his birthday, and he very sweetly was like, it's also Women's Day, International Women's Day, come celebrate both. And I was like, I'm so sorry, but I have very important convention. And he was like, God, your fans are just so, like, even just people in your life will know about our fans eventually.
Yeah. My dad was really impressed, to be honest. He was like, wow. He was like, people really care about this show, huh? And I was like, yes, dad. And he's like, it's great for you, sweetie. Like, good job. He's like,
Yeah.
he sort of like doesn't, he's not in the arts in any way whatsoever. So like when he does, like but he really understood this. He was like, people really seem to like this show. And I was like, that's right, dad. They love it. Like, and the movie, it was great. It was very funny. So finally being respected for my job by my dad is another beautiful thing that Winona Earp has given me. So thank you. Thank you.
Incredible. Well, then let's jump into some vengeance talk. So Knox, you join a long list of villains who absolutely kicks Nicole Hot's ass.
Yes.
It's a tradition. And also your very first scene
The
in the
only
movie.
one who's kicked a pregnant.
That's true.
Obviously. And like
There's that too.
Behind the scenes of that, just the whole time, I was like, like me doing the code switching of like, when we call cut, I'm just being like, Kat, are you okay? Like, I don't want to. Are you sure you want to do this? And Kat, of course, in like true form, is just like, fine, yeah, I got this. And I was like, okay, all right, okay, I'm gonna shove you now. So, but she like, oh my God, Kat, like, what a pro. Good God. Anyway,
And then no, in your first scene, you literally tear apart a fan favorite, Mercedes.
I know.
Did you feel, how much pressure did you feel kind of stepping into this show, knowing the passionate fandom, knowing, how everyone pays attention to every little thing? What kind of pressure did you feel, if any?
If I'm being real, lots of it. Yeah, I was really nervous. I think I remember, like, you know what, on the very first day and the very first scene that I shot, the God, Melanie, was like in the car with me as we were on the set. And you were so cool, Mal. You were just like, hey, let me give you like the bare bones breakdown of this thing. And you were so just like, this is what it's gonna be like. I think you even asked me, like, are you a little nervous? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, that's okay, don't worry about it. You're gonna be fine. Just like such a coach energy, so kind, so generous. And it really did make me feel like way less nervous about the whole thing. Because you know what? It was like, this show it's so beloved, and I totally get why it's beloved. And of course, I was doing my research before we shot, and I was, like kind of, rewatching a lot of like the favorite episodes and like, figuring out the lore. And so, like when something means so much to a lot of people, you want to do it justice, and you want to bring it. And I think though, like going in as the villain is like a little bit easier, because I think it's easier to be like, all I have to do is be hated by everyone. Like if you have to go in and you have to be loved by everyone, way more pressure, way more pressure. I don't know what that says about like, my childhood trauma or whatever. But I'm like, you want to hate me? Let's go. I'm like, you want to love me? Oh no. So yeah, there was lots of it, but I can't believe how, as soon as I got on the set, everyone was just so nice and supportive, and like doing, like wanting everyone to do their best. And honestly, Mel, you were such a goat, and like really just made me feel so at ease. So yeah, I was.
Me and Paolo and Emily were like, we were just like, oh my God, she's good. Because I remember you, I hope I can say this, but I say it with love and respect. I was like, you spat in my face. Like you were spitting in my face. And I was like, yes, like you didn't hold back. And so it gave me a lot to, and then, like you had your hands around my neck, and some people don't, like, understandably, they're a bit timid to like I'm like, I need you to do something, like, but with you just, I mean, you were always making sure I was okay, but you were not afraid to like give me what I needed, because it's two for Winona and not like, and Knox.
Yeah.
That's not your character's name.
Mina.
But Winona and Mina going head to head had to feel like dreadful to
Yeah.
everyone, but especially to Winona. And so you showed up and you didn't hold back. And it was like we were behind the scenes going, oh, thank God, like this is so much better than we could have imagined.
Oh, I do remember when we were filming that scene and you were like, hey, you choke me a little harder. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will. Thank you. Thank you for your consent. It was,
Well, Mina is a very formidable villain, and so much fun to watch. And so once you kind of did, after that initial pressure that you felt, were you able to have fun? Because boy, it looked like you were having a great time.
oh, like I think the pressure didn't not allow me to have fun. Like I was having fun the minute I got on the plane to Calgary. I was like, yeehaw, I get to be on this amazing show. Like, like I was having the best time. And I honestly, like, I think pretty much like every time in my life when things are like a little bit of a pressure cooker, like that's when I do have the most fun, just because then the stakes are a little bit higher. And I think that, it's always more exciting when, especially when you can feel like the urgency of like a small team of people coming together to make something awesome. And that feeling was like always very palpable on that set. Like you could tell from like every person on that set, from like, PAs to costume to like people in the makeup trailer to, like Emily and Mel and everyone sort of, on the big creative side of things. It's everyone, like there is like it's like bringing, it's like having a baby. It's like, there is like it's like you're in the delivery room when you're on set for however how many weeks we were shooting this, and you can really feel that sort of like urgency of like, we're all like coming together and we're trying to birth this thing together. And like that feeling is always so fun, because it's collaboration, and it's like everyone working towards something, and the thing that they're working towards is always a good thing. And that always makes me really thrilled when collective energy is like funneled towards the creation of something that everyone's excited about. I just think that the people are their best selves when they're working in tandem with other people and like trying to bring something beautiful into the universe. Um, so yeah, the pressure was kind of what made it fun, I think is what I would
How
say.
did the cold affect? Because the first day you were there, it was we couldn't stay outside for longer than a few minutes at a time. Like, how did that help or hinder?
I mean, really funny, like hinder for sure. Like I think it was really funny. I remember when we were driving up to the mountains to shoot the opening scene with me and Danny and Greg, and I was like, because I'd have been having thoughts. I was like, well, gee, like I wonder, like maybe you just get so cold at a certain point that you just like really like get out of your head and you become this like amazing actor. So I was like, Danny, you've done a lot of this. I was like, what do you think? Like, do you think you get better at acting when you get really cold? Because like you just like stop thinking about like any acting. And she's like, oh fuck no. She's like, absolutely not. She's like, a lot of the time I'm just trying to make sure that I'm like saying the lines and that I'm not like shaking. And I was like, okay, cool. That's great. Thanks for the pep talk. Really appreciate that. And I was like, I'm gonna put on 2 pairs of my electric underwear today. The cold it's tough. It's really, really tough. And I think that I don't, yeah, I seeing, like, I mean, I didn't even have to do it as much of it as you guys. Like, you guys were out on the fucking, like, the fields on that one day when there was like an ice storm and it was like -35 and you were like fighting monsters. And I was like, it's,
I
yeah,
was really grateful that the genius Paolo Barsman decided to put hell inside a studio
yes,
because
me,
I I think hell could have easily been. There was a lot of talk around like, sorry, Kat, if we're going off topic.
No, yes,
Okay, great.
please. No, this is topic.
There was a lot of talk of like, what does hell look like? And obviously within our resources too, it was like, and how much time we had, it was like, well, what does it look like and what can we accomplish? And so there was talk of it, maybe it's a winterscape, but maybe like hell could be freezing, like let's go against there was some really interesting conversations around it. And then ultimately Paolo landed on this kind of abstract thing, which he does so well. And I think that's why he works so well with Winona, is because Emily gives the freedom to come up with out of the box ideas, but then he's really good about being like, okay, we can't make this literal because it would take forever and be too expensive, so it's going to be really dark, it's going to be a soundscape, and it's going to be crazy lights, and you guys can imagine the rest, because that's what we can do here. But he made it beautiful, like these crystals hanging in front of the, remember, like the crystals
I know.
lens, and like he's just anyway, grateful that it was in the studio was my point.
Yeah, but it was so creative. I loved what they did, like the production design team, like figuring out how to do Hell like inside on, we had like one day to shoot it, but like so creative. And so like, and then just like flipping it too. So we had to like dress one side of Hell. Like Hell is only, believe it or not, folks, Hell was only half of a room.
Yeah, we shot this direction, and then when we had to turn around, the camera stayed where it was, and we literally turned around. And we're like, and now we're looking the other way. Also, how good did our hair look in those lights?
Literally amazing. It really, like, truly, my hair has never looked better than in Hell.
Yeah. Why is it looking really good now? Did you have any fake hair on our show?
Oh, I had so much fake hair on the show.
What is this that I'm looking at?
This is also fake hair. There's some. Some of it's mine. Some of it's a little bit of extension,
Because I'm rocking the this is my real life hair.
Ah, very nice.
Volume. There's no magic.
Yeah.
Was hair. That's what I'm rocking.
You could have set up a fan though, so at least we could have gotten like the flowy, Do you have a fan anywhere? Okay. While you look for the fan, I was actually going to ask what was the most challenging part of Vengeance. So maybe it sounds like the cold was the most challenging part, or maybe not. What about for both of you? What was the biggest challenge, either physical, performance-wise, whatever comes to mind?
I really would say for me it was the cold, because I have never, I mean, I've shot outside in winter before, but never in Calgary, and that was a special experience. And the other thing that I did in the cold too, I got to wear a parka. We were outside and it was modern times, and I was wearing a winter jacket, so it was a little nicer. This one, I was in tiny pants, cowboy boots, and a little leather jacket, and lots of electric.
Welcome to my hell.
Yeah. You for 4 seasons.
I wonder, mine, it was a really challenging, a lot of it was really challenging. But as always, it's the most challenging part was getting out of my own way. I think like I was really scared of, spoiler, anybody who hasn't seen it, stop listening, Doc's death. I was like, man, you want to get that right. And so I was really like working myself up around those pieces. Like the hellscape was really challenging. I remember being like we had nothing to hide behind. There were no props. There were no set pieces. Like we were naked in terms of, it was just our acting. And I just remember being like, wow, and we were there all day. So we had to show up all day. And that's a really exhausting state to maintain. I think that was the hardest part, actually.
Yeah. I think my favorite line from Vengeance, and I remember it from the table read, like literally like weeping salt tears when I heard the line spoken. It's the death scene between you and Doc when you say like, I'm gonna probably mess it up, but you say like, let me save you, and he says, my darling, you already did. And like I remember those lines just coming in the table read, and I was like, like still I hear it now and I get a little salty, like wow, like that's when writing's so good, because it's like you could put those lines in the mouth of different characters and it wouldn't hit, but with Winona and Doc it's like, ooh, it's just like a knife to your heart. It's beautiful. So I can understand why that would have been a tough emotional scene to do.
Yeah. And then it's always like I just look into his eyes and it's all there. So I'm like, I really need to stop thinking about it because
Yeah.
he offers
Mm.
so much just when he looks at me in those
Mhm.
scenes, you know? So
Mhm.
I just have to chill out.
So you
Record.
guys got some, no, please. You guys got some very intense scenes together. How would you describe each other as scene partners?
Mm.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Well, like right away, I loved that Knox shows up as a partner. Like, and she's not holding back. So then I don't have to hold back. And like when I said she spat in my face, it wasn't on purpose. But it was like if you can get to the place where you're so in it that you're spitting.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I've certainly hope I've been there too. Like that is uh it's a visceral kind of presence that you can't you can't fake. And so I really loved like your intensity of you always show up and it's never like I don't know, it's kind of this like it's always like and I was there. Remember the scene I showed up for and I just watched and then Paolo put me in the front.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was just enjoying watching you and like seeing how you maneuvered that scene and because there's a lot going on and you were never like dismissive of the material, which is like a serious peeve of mine when actors are like think they're above what they're saying.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. Yeah, I loved working with you a lot.
What
Aw.
scene was that, Mel? Do you remember which
It
scene
was
you were put into?
it was the one where Knox Mina, sorry, your name is great, so I just refuse to call you anything else. Mina
Mhm.
is talking to um, Winona, the mini
Oh, younger. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
younger
Awesome.
Winona, teenage Winona, and yeah, and Paolo was watching me in the scene in front of younger Winona, and he's like, don't be mad, but I don't think you're done today." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck."
What a brilliant move. That's like, wow.
I
It's
know.
intensifies that scene so much.
I think so too.
Mhm.
I thought it
So
was brilliant.
smart.
And it looks so cool too. Like that the three shot when you can see you like in the corner too. It
Hmm.
was a stroke of genius.
Mhm.
Um Working with Mal, like Mal, you're just gonna have to hear a bunch of compliments. I know you love to hear it. I know you
Allow
love
it.
to hear it at 10 o'clock in the morning.
LOL.
Um, but I literally have told so many people, like I think like right after we finished shooting, people were like, oh, how was shooting Winona? And I was like, well, some pennies dropped for me in terms of like what it means to be a pro.
Some panties dropped.
Some panties dropped. No, some pennies dropped.
This show has that effect.
Does.
So some panties
Many
dropped.
panties dropped across the country. No, some pennies really dropped for me in terms of like what it means to work with a pro because you are genuinely like just a fucking pro. I was so um kind of just blown away by how much you just you because you have to carry everything and how much you can just sort of like you take it in and it's just like okay now I do it and you get it done and it's not like it's not overwhelming it's very like it felt like I was watching a professional athlete like an Olympic athlete kind of like operate at a very high level and it was so inspiring to me and that's what I told everyone after we finished working too. I was like Mel is just a fucking pro and really knows what she's doing and I felt that way in the scenes too. Like it was just like there was an ease with the material, with the character, with the job, really. That was just so relaxed and professional in this way that like when people have been, you know, doing this for a long time and really know what they're doing and just have like a skill level that is remarkable.
But you
Um,
know what the cool secret is that we know that the people we're doing it for
mhm.
uh will like will appreciate what we're doing so we don't feel like scared of we don't feel scared when we show up. We just want to show up and
Mm.
honor this story that our
Mhm.
Earpers will like. There's just such a freedom when you know that the people you're working to serve,
Yeah.
I don't know if those are the right words or if that was patronizing. I'm not a wordsmith, but and it's daylight saving time, so I'm screwed. But um, but we know that we're loved, and so
Mhm.
we don't come at the work from a place of fear. We come at it
Mhm.
from a place of love, and
Mhm.
maybe that's what you were picking up on too.
Yeah, yeah. I think probably that. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was too. Yeah, your passion was just very clear and inspiring. So
Mm.
yeah, I felt like I was taking a master class a little bit in like what it means to lead a television show. And and I was like really grateful to take that class.
Thank you. Please hire me for your next project.
Same.
Okay.
So speaking of, because you're both directors, and just kind of based on what we've been speaking of in this conversation of like, making decisions on set on the fly, like to, the decision to bring Mel into that scene makes it, that much better of a scene, making the hellscape, kind of on a budget, but very effective and beautiful, as you say. Like as directors, I'm sure it is like being, I don't want to diminish what your experience, but like kind of like a film school of like, wow, this is what you can do creatively to kind of overcome budgetary challenges and timing and stuff like that. What have you learned from being on set? Either like a very specific thing or like a big kind of idea um, on Winona, because it just seems like, boy, there's so many great creative moments, but I'm sure it was like, well, we don't have time, so we got to shoot it like this kind of stuff.
For me, it's watching over the years, watching there's a few key people, but so Emily empowering people, like she's the type of leader who empowers. So she may see it one way in her head, but then what you bring is she's hired you for a reason. So she's not going to micromanage you. And that allows a freedom that I think when you're being micromanaged, you feel like, okay, I have to check that, I have to get this right. Whereas with her,
Mm.
there's no right. There's only the only thing, and I love, she said this a long time ago and it stuck with me, is like, don't bring me a problem if you're not going to bring me a solution.
Mm.
And she's like, so she's very, uh, she loves being offered solutions because then she's like, I'm the one, I look good if you do your best work. And then
Mhm.
with Paolo, the fearlessness of trying things and of staying open to ideas and of um, of of interpretation, being a powerful tool that we all have when we can't do the thing as written. Um, well, now we can use our artistry and our creativity to think outside the box. And I think in the world as it is, we can all use a little bit of that, of like, okay, well, we didn't, we tried to get it this way and we couldn't get it, so now let's think of another angle to come at this from. That's what I've learned from him. He's
Mm.
my mentor and I adore him.
Mm.
I think for me, like I was really impressed by what an alchemist Paolo was in terms of like energy on the scene, like energy like on set. I think that he, and I mean this is me putting this on him, but this is what my interpretation of it is, that like I think that he imbues the feeling that he wants to capture on screen into the set as well. Like I think he, like, because filmmaking is alchemy. It's like making gold out of like all of these like weird crummy pieces of garbage, not, me and Mel notwithstanding. But it's like, there's a bunch of like there's all these things have to come together, and in order for it to work, alchemy does need to occur. And I think that he has like such an energy that he sort of like it feels like magic. Sometimes when he's like whipping something into existence, it does feel like magic. And he can do it so quickly too. Like he moves so quickly on set and is like, there's something about like the forward momentum and the propulsion and the kind of like, it's almost like getting on a roller coaster, kind of his directing. And sometimes as a director, I can be a bit back-footed and be like, oh, we need to think about this more. Like, no. But I think that I was really impressed by the way that he can sort of get on a roller coaster and just keep going like, yes, until it kind of like, until it just goes. And then it's like, you're on the train and everyone's like, well, I guess I better get on the roller coaster then, because this, it's leaving, we gotta go. And I think sometimes as a director, you do have to do that, and you have to be in the front seat of the roller coaster and be like, we gotta go, we gotta do this. If you try to slow it down, or aren't like like charging into the fray, then it never really gets there fast enough, or you don't quite capture the alchemy. So there's like, it's so funny being a director, because I think there's two sides to it. You have to be so conscientious and aware of your team and where they're at, and how they're feeling. But at the same time, you also have to know when you got to put the gas on, you got to go, and you could, because that alchemy will disappear, and you have to, like, it's lightning in a bottle, and you have to seize it. So it's this funny thing. And I think he walks like the line of that really well, of being incredibly aware of everybody on set and making sure that everyone feels safe and taken care of, while also sort of, being at the front of the roller coaster and being like, we're going now, which I think is really admirable. And I felt like I learned a lot from him in that way.
Amazing. Okay, we are almost out of time. But we have an EarpR question. So people have submitted questions. And this is kind of a perfect way to wrap up. Paige asks, what was it like to reunite on the set of Revival? I wanted to talk about Revival. Can you tell us, do you have any scenes together? Maybe you can't. I don't think you can tell us, can you?
Oh, she told us, and I think she did a really good job of saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say the role that Knox played is so fun and interesting.
Okay.
Like, you read it and you're like, who's gonna do this? And then when I heard it was Knox, I was like, oh, nice, well played. I can picture it.
Funny. Yeah.
Well, people are very excited to see the show, and hopefully I can
I think it's gonna
ask you Revival questions one day once we've seen some eps. That would be amazing.
Right. Freckles are not real. Great.
Well, thank you guys so much. Boy, this went by fast. I know. I could listen to you guys talk about filmmaking for hours. So, but thank you both for joining us and for being a part of EarpConic. Hope you guys have a great rest of the con. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching. And I hope we can do this again sometime.
Thanks, Kat. And nice to see you, Mel. I'll see you at Yonge and Dundas Square in 5 hours.
Yes. Yes. I'm on. My boots are on.
Okay, great.
Thanks, everyone. It was
I'll see you there.
fun and
Thanks,
short.
everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.
I'm gonna be iconic.